tell me a little bit about Linkfluence. Well, this is Linkfluence, right? So tell me a little bit about what this does.
Okay, so what you see here is a map of the presidential political US blogosphere.
Okay.
It's supposed to represent all the 500 most influential websites
Okay.
of political blogosphere here in the US.
Okay.
And all the dots you see are websites, and the links between them, the edges are hyperlinks. Okay? So what you see is just a lot of websites highly connected to each other and divided in two communities, which are on the left the Democrats, the liberals, and
Are
on
they
the right
color-coded? They're color-coded.
on the right the conservatives
Okay.
and Republicans website. And
How
on
do
the
you
middle
decide that? How do you decide that they're conservative or not? I mean, are you
we don't decide. We have, first of all, we are just listening to what people are saying.
Okay, do you make a decision that they're Republican or Democratic based on?
And after, if we have adopt, if we don't know, if people don't want to say what are the linking patterns.
Okay.
If you are more linked by Democrats, you'll be a Democrat.
Okay.
If you are linked by Republican, you'll be a Republican.
Okay.
Because it's all about social network theories.
Okay.
If you only know people Republican most of the time, it means that you are a Republican, even if you think that you are a Democrat.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right. You know, based on what I link to.
And the last thing is the size of the dots. Side of the dots is representing the influence of the website.
Okay.
And
Is that the number of links it has?
Yes. The more inbound links you have from your community, the more influence you are.
How do you define community?
Community is just being part of Democrats or being part of Republican forces map. But a community is a set of websites which are more linked together than linked to the rest of the web.
Okay.
That's the idea of a community. So you can draw the frontiers of community easily if you have this rule. You say, if I have more links with my friends than with other people, I am part of the community.
Okay.
Okay? So the Linkfluence of a website is defined with these two statistics. Inbound links received by your peers.
Okay.
And your notoriety, which is the links you receive from all other websites.
Okay.
Because if you want to be an expert on politics, you have to be chosen by people who are talking about politics. If you are just chosen by people who are talking about baseball, you're not really influential in the politics.
Okay.
That's the idea of the map.
So, what does this tell you about? What can you do with this information? What can you do with it?
First of all, we're representing a landscape who wasn't represented before. So you can perceive really what are the strengths in presence on the territories. So you are able to know that, for example, the Republicans are a little bit more influent than the Democrats on the web today. Okay? And what you can know.
But you're looking at things like Fox News.
Yes, Fox News is on the map.
Accounting Washington Times, papers that are mainstream and putting them in with blogs. I mean, is that right or wrong to mix those two together? Because I mean, if you're gonna take mainstream media and add it to Fox News, if you're gonna add mainstream media to this list, I think you're gonna skew it because Republicans have been in power for several years and have pretty much enslaved media. You know.
Look at you have the mainstream media. You have Bloomberg.
Is yellow more like either way?
You have the New York Times, which is Democrat. You have
Based on its
Wall Street-
linking pattern. Based
Yes,
on its linking
yes,
patterns.
yes.
Correct. Okay.
You have
Right.
Wall Street
Based on
Journal.
Krugman and about other people I like to read.
You have the Washington Times. You have the New York Post. You have. We don't make a difference between mass media on the web and social media because they are all media on the web. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean there is a difference in terms of how much the New York Times is going to be read versus my blog.
yes, it's
I
a
mean,
difference.
New York Times might get several million visitors a day. I'm not going to get that many visitors.
Yes,
to
but
my blog.
Ariana Huffington,
What?
Ariana Huffington, the Huffington Post will have thousands and thousands of visits a day. So we can say that the mass media are only the traditional media. There is some bloggers who became mass media today.
Okay. Now let me.
That's why we're using the term of infopit. The infopits are all the websites who can set the agenda. They are conversation starter.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: do you take any data from Nielsen, ComScore? Or
No.
anything? Your analysis is totally done on linking patterns.
Yes.
Is linking patterns enough?
No, excuse me. The analysis is not only on linking patterns. The analysis is mixed. It's a content analysis and linking patterns. But when we can't figure out what is saying on a blog, we just use linking patterns to decide if a website is Democrat or Republican and at which community it belongs.
Okay.
Okay?
So your thing is actually very good in terms of classifying
Yes.
a blog as Republican or Democratic when it's not clearly saying what it is. When it's not clearly
Yes.
saying I am a Democrat. You
But
can
most of the
discern the leanings of a blog or a mainstream media regardless of whether they declare. So therefore you would be useful in declaring, let's say, support for a candidate before a paper decides to support, say, McCain or Obama, right? I mean, in other words, you could probably call that,
Yeah.
right? That's what I...